is Monday, June 12th, 2023, currently 9 minutes past the 9 o'clock p.m. hour. I am James, you are you, and we are here for a very special edition of the At Home Show. Not often we do sequels, but tonight we do. The year was 2020. The show was not yet on Twitch. No, it was live every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and of course Friday on Instagram Live. The month was May of 2020 when we put together an entire week of programming called CanCon Week. And it was truly a low point in my life during the COVID times. People still talk to me about that week and ask, hey, what was happening during that time? And I said, let's get into it another time. It's been eating away at me. So tonight, we bring you part 2 of CanCon. Now, the show is no longer Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but we have supersized this episode by not only bringing back 2 of the CanCon experts from 2020, this time around, we double it. We bring 2 more people into the mix for a good old-fashioned fan favorite panel episode of the show that won't go away. But in true CanCon on at-home tradition, I'm also at a current low point. Not for any reasons similar to 3 years ago, no. I woke up this morning with a canker at the tip of my tongue. So tonight, I battle through the war wounds, the cankerous sore that is scraping against the top rung of my teeth, bringing me jolts of pain over and over and over. Why? Because I am a Canadian and I love Canadian content. So let us begin tonight's festivities as we welcome the following: Jason Grimmer, Alex Brown, Marlaena Moore, and last but certainly not least, my side piece, Dave Kaufman. Welcome to the show, everyone. Alex, let's start with you. You were here in 2020. The CanCon you spoke about was Canadian content on TV. Tonight is all about music. How does it feel?
It's music is life,
Yeah.
but I gotta be honest, it's not like my wheelhouse, but I'm
Yeah.
excited to learn, something. And maybe I'll
Okay.
impart some wisdom. Who knows?
I will say this. You look Canadian tonight.
Yeah.
It looks like you just got done having a swim at
Yeah.
a summer estate chalet in like
Ooh.
Nepean, Ontario.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm a lifeguard at the local swimming lake.
I'd like if we took on some Canadian alter egos tonight. Jason, you were
Yeah.
also here in 2020. You and I ranked what we believe to be individually the top 25 Canadian songs of all time up to 1990. You were also going through a low point at the exact same time as me. Is it as exciting for you as it is for me to be back trying to redo the wounds of the past?
Uh, yeah, yeah. It's as exciting for me as it is for you.
All right, you might also be going through a low point. Marlaena Moore, you're here. You're a rocker. As April Wine once said, you like to rock.
Yeah.
I like that answer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spoken like someone's tipsy aunt at a party. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a bowl of cherries and some kombucha, and I've got
Nice.
CanCon on the brain, so it's all happening, baby.
You might be the most well-prepared person here tonight. So much so that you added a topic of conversation to the fray.
Yeah, that's right. As I'm a musician. I've toured around. I've played with lots of other CanCon. I technically am CanCon
Yeah, you are CanCon.
In a minor, very low way, but it counts. You know,
Yes.
I have been funded by the Canadian government to contribute music to the Canadian content landscape. I'm sure everyone is familiar here. It is like a law that 30% of the radio has to be Canadian content.
Mm-hmm.
And so, very familiar, very familiar.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here and you're participating and you're contributing to the 30% that we have to exercise on tonight's episode. Dave, as mentioned last but not least, you're here tonight.
Yeah.
You mentioned before we got on the air, you don't feel prepared or well-versed enough for this.
I think when it comes to music, I'll be able to recognize a lot of songs which we can't play, but like the name recall of remembering the bands and the titles and stuff like that, I feel like I'm weaker at that, and so I might not win this conversation.
Well, it's interesting that you bring it up because last week you and I did the episode, just the two of us, and I initially suggested that we do an entire hour on Bruce Springsteen, and you said to me, quote, I don't know much about the boss.
I don't.
But I also want to say that I think that you need to give yourself more credit because you and I did an hour on Aerosmith covers.
That's true.
Oh.
But then you asked me one question about the songs afterwards, and I couldn't remember which one won. So
okay, so it's going to go either way tonight. Yeah. Let's get right into it. We've got a variety of questions. I want to start on a positive note. Who are some of our likes, our fave CanCon artists? Jason, I want to start with you. Now, we can talk about musicians, bands, or songs on their own because, of course, I, much like everyone else, sometimes only like one song from a band and no others. So, Jason, how do you want to start this off?
I think my favorite band that I listen to the most that's CanCon would be, at this point, be Destroyer. I just love Destroyer. I've listened to them for a long time. I like them more and more. I think they get better and better.
You're saying it's not Sweeney Todd? It's
not Sweeney Todd. We're going to go classic, James. We're going to speak your language. I'm going to say yes.
That's a great pick. Burton Cumming and the Boys.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm kind of a latecomer to Guess Who because I wasn't a Prairie person, so I didn't listen to all that stuff all the time. And I only knew the hits. But later I went in, and there's some great deep cuts.
Really good.
Well, how about that song Albert Flasher?
Yeah, sure. I also really like Burton Cummings' voice.
Yeah.
Singer.
What about his mustache?
I'm not a fan of Randy Bachman, though. I don't like Randy Bachman.
Oh, you don't like taking care of business?
Randy Bachman.
Yeah, I don't like BTO at all.
Hold on, guys. Let's wait until we go to our dislike section of the show. Marlaena, I want to go to you. Who do you like? Who are some of your faves? And I want for us to see how many artists we can just start rattling off here.
So I would say, first of all, in terms of, being brought into the world, wanting to make music myself, the trifecta of, like, first of all, Sarah McLachlan, the album Surfacing is like how I'm like, that's part of who I am. Like that album is like me singing to that album with in the Ford Explorer with my mom driving somewhere. It's just like in me. I think that is a beautiful album. Sweet Surrender is like one of the coolest songs ever recorded, and she just has a perfect voice. I kind of wish she was still a little bit more of a rocker. She's kind of gone into the easy listening thing, and she's allowed to. But
now, is it fair to say that is Sarah McLachlan Canada's Sheryl Crow?
No.
Who is that? I think that's well, yeah. That's kind of fair, but also I feel like they're pretty different as well.
Perhaps Jordan.
Oh my God, yes!
Now, Sass.
Sass Jordan is pre-Sheryl Crow. Would that mean that Sheryl Crow is America's Sass Jordan?
I think we nailed it. I think we had the nail on the head.
Hold on here. I want to talk about Sass Jordan for a little bit now. Favorite Sass Jordan songs?
I don't know any. I know her as a
Double Trouble, So Hard.
Wow.
I don't mind some of her back vocal work on the early albums, or the albums by the Montreal band The Box.
Yeah, yeah, not a great band, but CanCon, right?
CanCon nonetheless.
So it's gonna get played.
Yeah.
Also, when I was a little bit older, I got into, and I was becoming more of a controversial figure. I got really into Avril Lavigne. Because she was punk and she was cool as hell and she was everything I wanted to be. And my mom wouldn't let me go to her concert. And I asked her as an adult, Mom, why wouldn't you let me go to the Avril Lavigne concert? And she said, I don't remember. That sounds weird. I don't know why I did that. Like,
just didn't want to drive you.
I would have done that.
Basically, you're creating your CanCon triptych here with Sheryl Crow. Sarah McLachlan, Avril Lavigne,
and then teenage years was when I was 15 when The Reminder came out, and for Feist, and so
Yeah.
it was just like that was
Got it.
Feist really means a lot to me today, and she's someone who I really respect because she has like kept trying to make very interesting, very thoughtful music, and had her like psycho hit of 1 2 3 4,
Yeah,
and
the iPod song.
the iPod song. She's can live in Paris off of that and do whatever she wants
She
for
didn't
the
write
rest of her
that, though.
career.
Did she? I don't think she wrote it, so she doesn't
Mm-mm.
get that.
Oh, wow.
Oh shit.
It's on Sesame
Damn.
Street.
Should have
Yeah.
thought of that. Well, she was on Sesame Street, so maybe she gets
Oh, yeah, I'm
residuals
sure
from
she's
that.
lucky.
Well, tonight we're talking about Canadian content, so you might want to
Yeah.
refer to it as Sesame Park.
Sesame.
Oh,
Oh, right.
Is that okay.
Yes, that was it was the Canadian version of Sesame Street, which I think was unique to only Canada. Alex, let's go to you. Why is it Sloan?
It's
Sloan
always
rules.
been Sloan. It'll always be Sloan. I saw an interactive when I think I was like 12 on Much Music. And I was like, I don't know. I just like fell in love with Chris Murphy, who's like he's the bass player in the
Pretty
band.
Canadian sounding name.
Yeah. Well, they are from Halifax, so I have that like strong tie. They have like 1,000 albums. I think they're also always like similar to Feist, who I actually saw in concert a couple weeks ago,
I know,
and
I
it
wanted
was
to go.
really good. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah, I think they're also trying to like, they're always doing different shit. I don't know. I don't know that much about music. I don't know why I'm on this, but I'm gonna try my best.
You're pretty
Um,
Canadian. You're pretty
Good
Canadian.
choice. Sloan are great.
No,
yeah.
Sloan-
Also, my very first concert that I ever saw was when I was 15. I got my dad to drive my friend Emily Doncaster and I to Antigonish to go to St. FX, which is St. Francis Xavier University. And we saw Sloan, and opening for Sloan was Joel Plaskett Emergency.
Oh my God, very Halifax.
Yeah, and I was like, what is this? I was like 14 or 15.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Now, do you have any others that enter the fray here with Sloan?
Oh, I mean,
Fifi Dobson.
Okay, I put Fifi Dobson down on my notes because she was like, I did have a moment with Fifi. I also went through the Avril Lavigne thing, similar to Marlaena.
Mhm.
Definitely wore like a tie with like a tank top.
How
Probably
about
like
Holly
sandals.
McNarland?
Oh, I have a story about Holly McNarland. I have
Oh.
a tale.
Well,
my
I
God.
want to quickly go to Dave here. Dave, you seem overwhelmed.
I'm a little bit overwhelmed. I'm sort of like cycling through my life and its relationship to music and figuring out all the little connections to
Come on,
Canadian
you
artists.
must like the Rankin family.
Sorry?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
Wow.
But when I was a kid,
Here we go.
well, I liked Alanis Morissette. She was good.
Oh, hell yeah.
I had a big Bare Naked Ladies phase. Not gonna lie.
BNL.
BNL, when they had their live album, I was born on a pirate ship, but it's supposed to sound like I was born on a pile of shit. Anyway, because you do it like this. What else?
The entire appeal of that band.
What?
There.
Yeah, there you go.
Entire appeal of that garbage band.
Gordon Lightfoot.
Recently passed. Yeah.
Who else? I had a tragically hip phase for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in college, like after like my first like big breakup, I had a big broken social scene phase.
Yeah.
Yes! Oh,
Oh, that
all
is
of high
good.
school.
Yeah,
And then of
that's-
course,
yeah.
even before all of that, I was big into Bowser and Blue.
Bowser and
Oh.
Blue.
Yeah.
Missed that one.
Don't know.
They are
Canadian comedy
CanCon.
duo.
I was supposed to
Oh.
perform in Hudson, and I got bumped for Bowser and Blue.
Yeah. Well, that checks out.
Got debooked for Bowser and Blue. Now, I want to go over to Marlaena. I want to hear about this Holly McNarland story. For people who don't remember, as far as I'm concerned, a one-hit wonder with her song "Numb."
Yeah, Numb is great. So she was kind of part of the Lilith Fair boom that kind of happened, and she, really cool voice, good songwriter, and she got extremely fucked over by Universal Music. Very classic thing that happened to a lot of artists in the 90s, sadly. But basically, my connection to Holly McNarland is that, like I said, I'm not sure if I said this while we're recording, but my father, when I was a teenager, he was a little bit of like a dadager because I had started writing songs, and he was very supportive to a degree that it almost destroyed our relationship because he was just like trying to like, yes, I can. And he, he worked in film. We're from Vancouver.
I want to quickly chime in here. Let's just so Marlaena doesn't feel alone. Just maybe throw your hand up if you're on this show and you have somewhat of a complicated relationship with your father. I would throw my hand up, but I did not have any relationship.
That's a question.
Wow.
Whose fault is that, James?
Yeah.
It's God's for taking.
You know what you did.
Thanks, guys. I feel really seen right now.
Yeah.
Very supported. I appreciate that. Anyways, my father, he works in the film industry in Vancouver, and so he had all these kind of like weird connections. And one of his like good friends he worked in film with best friends with Holly McNarland, and sent her all these songs I had written, and Holly very much liked what she heard, and basically it ends up with like me and my mom flying out to Toronto so that I can go like hang out with Holly McNarland and like write songs in her house with her. And she's like this like hardened, like she's a really lovely person, and in fact I've like kept in touch with her over email. I always like send her updates about my life. And she's like, she's opened a cafe in Toronto with her family, and she's, redecorating Queen of the Greek town or whatever. But it was just like so fun. She like took me to a bar. It was like, she's like, oh yeah, come here all the time. It's cool. You can just like sit and hang out with me, and just like told me crazy stories about like going on tour with the Wallflowers, and like how she dated the guy from like Marcy's Playground, and he would like stalked her in front of her house and stuff like that. So that's why every time I hear Holly McNarland come up, my little ears perk up.
This is why you're here.
Yeah, my good friend.
I will say this for Jason. So far, the artists that we've thrown out vastly different than the original CanCon week, in which it was all classics.
Well, the songs, right? I think
a lot of songs, but also talking about a lot of artists. Like we spent a lot of time talking about Bryan Adams or April Wine or Trooper or Kim Mitchell or Rough Trade, things of that nature.
Rough Trade's cool.
I have a Blue Rodeo related story.
Yes.
Yeah.
I spent Thanksgiving with Jim Cuddy and his family when I was like 19.
My mother is going to love this story.
Yeah. So this is for all the moms out there. I was friends with his daughter because we went to university together. And when I moved here from Halifax, she was living in Toronto because like they're from there or whatever. And she was like, come spend Thanksgiving with me and my family. And I was like, okay. So I took an overnight bus and I like showed up at their doorstep. And Jim Cuddy was like in a robe and was just like, hey, how you doing? Like,
was he wearing anything beneath the robe?
What's that?
Anything beneath the robe?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't go in that deep, It was just like
flannel pajamas.
It was like a dad wearing a robe,
Yeah.
It wasn't like, yeah. And he was really nice. I got to go on the tour bus with Blue Rodeo. We went to Muskoka and they played like a concert.
This is such a Canadian story.
Yeah, and my friend and I were like sort of at like the front of the crowd, and this woman comes up to my friend and she's like, oh, you're Jim Cuddy's daughter. And she's like, yes. And we like, she didn't know this woman. She's like, I've seen Blue Rodeo 72 times.
That woman may have been my mother.
Sounds right. Was Jim Cuddy's son there at Thanksgiving?
Uh-oh.
You know what?
Devin Cuddy? Or what's his name?
He might have been, yeah.
Okay.
It's Kid
I
Cudi, right?
brothers.
Yeah.
We're not like that close anymore,
I remember when I played in Kelowna with my old garage rock band, and it was an extremely cold night in Kelowna on a Tuesday at like a taco place, and we were gonna like literally play to no one, and then
dying for some reason.
And there was like anytime like people right before we went to go play our set, this like group of young men in like hats and like they look like, oh, these are could be cool people or whatever. They're like, hey guys, we're on tour, you want to come see our band? He's like, yeah, sure. We're actually on tour too. We'll come see your band. We have the night off. I was like, okay, cool. And then it was Jim Cuddy's son.
Oh my God. We both have a Jim Cuddy connection.
Yeah, 1 degree of Jim Cuddy is
Yeah.
Now, Jason, did you ever open up for Blue Rodeo with your band?
But I did share the practice space with Avril Lavigne.
Oh shit.
Oh.
When they were putting her together.
What do you mean?
It was a big. She was the whole thing.
It was
like,
put together by various parts of other little girl pop stars.
Oh sure.
It was like a
Like a Frankenstein.
They were putting her together. I have to say that I want to chime in here. I really don't think Dave's joke got enough recognition.
I didn't even hear it.
It was kid.
You guys were talking about Jim Cuddy's son, to which Dave answered.
I said it was Kid Cudi.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I heard.
I missed most of Marlena's story because I muted my
apologize,
mic.
James. But it was worth rehashing once more.
Yeah.
It was. That was pretty good. It was really good. It was good.
I want to quickly jump over to our next topic, Canadian content that we dislike. Jason, let's start with you.
all right.
This is gonna be his longest list.
Yeah.
Correct.
Wait, what did you say? I was talking.
He said the Crash Test Dummies, but Peter Pumpkinhead's a good cover song.
I also like
Yeah, what about the first?
Yeah. Hold on, I gotta write this down. Canadian Christmas content episode.
Yes.
Yeah, because then we can also talk about BTO, or I think it was just Randy Bachman, the novelty cover song of his own song, "Taken Care of Christmas."
Oh wow.
Now you don't like Peter Pumpkinhead. For the longest time, I not that I thought the lyric was this, but I heard in the song, when you mishear lyrics and you think it's this other thing. In the chorus, I thought it was even sodomy.
I mean, it could be. XTC wrote that. They wrote kind of pretty weird lyrics sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, who else do you hate?
Moxie Fruvis.
Mm.
Wasn't that the Gian Gomeshi band?
Shit.
You ever opened
by
for
that
them?
from day one. Appalled by it from day one. There was a song King of Spain. It made me so upset to have to hear this kind of band and succeed.
Yeah. What else?
But it's sort of well, never mind. I'm thinking it's apropos of his career in a certain sense. That song. But I mean, we don't have to dive into it.
Ladies.
Okay, yeah, because I was waiting for someone to bring this up. I didn't like a lot of the bands people brought up in their likes. I don't like Avril Lavigne. I don't like Sloan. I don't like the Bare Naked Ladies. Yeah.
I mean,
I think it brings out the worst in Canada.
I think the Bare Naked Ladies have at least turned into a pretty bad band.
I can't speak to any of their current catalog. Who else do you dislike, Jason?
Who else did I write? There was a band no one's gonna know from the 90s called Frozen Ghost.
Okay.
They were terrible.
How do you feel about Tom Cochrane?
I don't care about Tom Cochrane at all.
Okay.
I like Red Rider.
I like yes, exactly. There's that, especially that one song, Red Rider.
Lunatic Fringe.
Awesome song.
Amazing. Yeah.
That was on our list, James.
Dave, you know that one?
Nope.
You and I listen to that all the time.
Lunatic Fringe.
You're out here. Yeah. Whoa. Like that.
But then Tom Cochrane shot himself in the foot because he got so popular and then openly criticized Bryan Adams, and then Bryan Adams' manager just destroyed him.
Whoa.
Yeah, bad move. Bad move. Yeah. Now, I think when we did our original list, there were 3 Bryan Adams songs that occupied spots on my top 25 list.
Yeah, you like him a lot.
Yeah, I saw Bryan Adams in concert, but I'm gonna touch on Bryan Adams later. Dave, what Canadian acts do you dislike?
Oh, let me think.
Serial Joe.
Serial Joe, sure.
Dislike
I'm
Serial
not a
Joe.
huge Fifi Dobson fan.
Wow.
Sorry,
right.
Fifi.
Yeah.
Prozac.
Prozac, they're
Prozac
Canadian?
is Canadian.
Oh yeah,
my
it is.
God.
That's right.
Are
yeah. Yeah, they
No.
are. Yeah, they are.
Wow.
No, I know, but I just thought of
We
also
consider
Len.
Glass Tiger to be a
Sucks to
Canadian
be
band.
you.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Is
Hell
the
yeah.
band a Canadian band?
Yes.
Yep.
Glass Tiger's Canadian. Alan
It-
Frew.
Not a huge Sum 41 fan.
Wow.
Not a huge
you kidding
Nickelback
me?
fan.
Yeah, well, there was that pop punk kind of
Renaissance.
popularity in the 2000s, and there was a lot of crappy Canadian bands that came out of that, like Gob.
Yeah,
Oh,
God.
God.
Oh yeah.
I saw Gob in concert.
I almost got to
Oh,
open
sick.
for Gob with my old bridegroom
Oh
band.
shit.
But no,
Hey, what
no
about-
Gob for me.
What about Sky Sweetnam?
Oh, I forgot about her.
Oh yeah. What is she the one that's like, you want to know more about me?
Yeah, I don't.
I'm the girl
I
that's
only
kicking
know.
the
I only know
Coke
Billy
machine.
S.
Billy S.
I don't need to read Billy Shakespeare.
Oh
Yeah,
shit.
And she also had a song that was in a Zellers commercial about going back to school.
Get that money, girl. Get it.
Yeah.
Get that
There's a
cash.
treble charger I don't care for too much.
Rebel Charger sucks.
Oh, I like that one song.
Which one?
Probably
I don't
that
know.
period of music is probably my
That only
least
song.
favorite period of music of all time. Is that pop punk period of like when that
I was a big Sum 41 head.
It's coming back with a fury
the
too.
age
Like,
thing, but it's like yeah.
Believe it.
Yeah, I didn't like it then. I don't like current music though either.
Right.
Every song
Ooh.
sounds like there's lasers in it now.
What about Hot Hot Heat?
I liked Hot
I liked Hot Hot Heat.
I met the lead singer of that band at a festival, and he
Oh.
yeah, he was kind. His gal pal was a lovely Canadian actress who was on a show
Oh.
where she played a white supremacist, and yeah, so she was making it. She was working, Canadian woman working out there in film.
Now they have interesting music videos, right? That's sort of their
They do,
thing.
yeah.
They do all sorts
Supremacists?
of yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
This is a great music video.
Yeah,
They
they've
won a
got
much
very
music
interesting music videos. No, Hot
They
Hot Heat,
go
of
to
course.
the MMVAs.
Sorry?
I did a short
about-
tour with Hot Hot Heat.
You did a what?
Well, tell us about it.
Yeah, how were they? Were they
Southern
okay?
Hotel wasn't great.
How
Like
short
that-
was it?
What?
How short was the tour?
It was like 4 shows.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
what do we think about Corey Hart, the man who is perpetually sweaty?
I like Corey Hart.
Yeah.
What about Gino Vanelli?
I love Gino Vanelli.
Yeah.
Gino Vanelli's great. Gino
Who,
Vanelli.
Alex, we didn't touch on people you dislike.
I might want to pass on.
Why? Do it.
Are some of them on this call?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I can mute.
Oh.
I'll just mute you for a second.
Yeah, Jason, what was your band called? No.
5.
Look.
Jason was in one of the white supremacist groups.
Yeah. I mean, that tracks.
We had to change your name from White
He's from New
Supremacist.
Brunswick. I mean,
Yeah.
like, no, I really don't like Brian Adams.
Me neither.
That's fine.
Me
That's
neither.
fine.
Fucking sucks.
Summer of '69, like, go.
I don't care for that
hell.
song. I don't really like that song too much.
Yeah, I just. Something
But I
about
bet you there's
that.
at least one Brian Adams song you like.
Maybe.
I think, like, for me, like, I'm not a huge Bryan Adams fan, but I can appreciate some of those big hits.
Sure.
The guy made so many hits.
He did have a lot of hits.
He's a lot of hits.
What about Shania Twain though?
Oh,
That's better.
I'm not a fan of
Icon.
hers, but I don't dislike her music. I mean, some song I don't like Get You Good. I don't like that song.
wow.
What about any man of mine? She was produced by Mutt Lange, who is my boyfriend's hero, and he's like,
Is that true?
yes, it is. Mutt Lange, who produced Back to Black, and then all of the Back to Black, and then all of the Def Leppard records. If you put
Cars.
and Cars, Heartbeat
Oh.
City, beautiful, but that's not CanCon, so we're not here for it.
Right.
But back to Shania Twain. If you
Keep
put
that out.
Def Leppard be against Shania Twain records produced by Mutt Lange sound like Def Leppard. It's crazy. Like
Yeah.
Any Man of Mine and Pour Some Sugar on Me have the exact same like,
True.
songs.
I'll
It's
like
crazy.
side by
It's
side.
Yeah. Any man better be proud of me. Oh,
I wanted
God,
to
so
jump
good.
in with what I think might be the worst Canadian song of all time.
Oh.
What?
We're the
Northern
world.
Lights, Tears Are Not Enough. Canada's answer to We Are the World.
Oh, I
It
don't.
might be one of the worst songs ever. And it's just a super group of who's. Gordon
Wow.
Lightfoot, Joni Mitchell, Neil Young,
Yeah.
Robert Charlebois.
No one's
Whoa.
mentioned Neil Young.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, I like Neil Young.
But I'm just gonna jump over here. Now there was a topic crossover appeal. There's
Mhm.
some musicians who are so big that they almost cease to be recognized as what we're talking about as it pertains to Canadian content, because Rush is huge, Shania Twain is huge, Bryan Adams is huge, Celine Dion is huge,
Yes, of
Celine.
course. Celine Dion.
Neil Young is huge, Joni Mitchell is huge. There's a ton of huge musicians that it's almost that once you pierce through, there's maybe no coming
There's
back.
no going back.
Bare Naked Ladies, they went through where a band Tragically Hip did not.
No.
True. Yeah.
What about
Yeah.
Rascals, Checkmate, Cardinal, and Thrust?
Yeah, the Northern Touch.
Yeah, they didn't go through.
Look, Drake is Canadian,
Yeah.
That
Totally.
is true.
but
Well,
I
the-
would never put
Cardinal
Drake
Official.
on list.
That's right.
But he refers to the Six in some of his work, I do believe.
Yeah.
He does.
I
Oh,
think it's, family here.
Everyone
related
knows
artist.
Drake's from Toronto. That's
Part of
like
his identity.
Yeah.
international.
What about
Toronto.
Shawn Mendes?
Sean
No, not
Mendes.
Sean. Sorry, Sean Desmond.
Paul?
Sean Desmond.
Oh, isn't Sean Paul Canadian too?
Sean
think he
Mendes. Sean Mendes is Canadian.
Sean Mendes is Canadian, yeah. But I was
Same
I was
with
trying to
Justin
say-
Bieber
Oh, it's
Of course. What about The Weeknd?
Oh,
as well.
Oh, I've got a
Canadian?
candidate for worst Canadian song.
Yeah.
oh.
Remember that guy Ricky Jay?
Wait, is that No Means No?
That's right. Yeah.
How does that song go again, Dave?
No means no.
No means no. But I really,
But I
want
really
to
wanna
hit it, girl. No means
Oh,
no.
yeah.
I can do it for a minute, girl.
I don't
Yeah.
know this at all.
Jason's
Wow.
got that song.
It was a song about the power of non-consent.
Yeah.
You know
No
what?
means no.
I think that's worth revisiting, and it could be like a maybe a renaissance is on the way.
Sure,
Of just,
Yeah.
Was Snow's Informer a crossover hit?
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Hell yes.
Maestro
Yeah.
from Wrestling.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Those were the
Well,
lyrics.
Now
Yeah.
we talked about the band earlier.
Yeah.
When I think of the band, I don't think Canadian.
Well,
I just don't think of the band. Sorry.
The Guess Who, I think they pierce through.
Yeah.
The band is mostly Canadian. It's not completely Canadian.
Yes, it's not completely. It's mostly.
Well,
The Guess
Also-
Who. Yeah. Go on.
I was thinking about this too with like more like recent artists as well, and maybe even more of the indie, even though they're like psychotically rich or whatever. Mac DeMarco is from Edmonton, where I am from, and so we
I don't even know who that is.
Oh,
He lives here now, I think. I always see him wearing like
He's
really
got a
short
gap in his
mile
teeth.
end.
Back and forth.
is he here now? That's crazy.
Comes back and forth.
Back
Well,
and forth.
this was like last spring on the first nice day of spring. And it wasn't even that hot. He was wearing like booty shorts. And I
That's
was like,
actually the sign of the first day of spring.
Yeah.
Is when Mac DeMarco was being shot.
and then Grimes as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
Grimes,
know. I don't know
yeah.
anything about Grimes.
She went to McGill University when
she
I was
did
there.
go to McGill.
And part of that kind of like basement show ketamine crowd, it
Mhm.
seems, and then babied mothered a baby to Elon Musk.
Yeah. X.
Wow.
Put
Coming
some
in from
respect
the
on his
chat, Thomas Barnwell writes Leonard Cohen, another piercer. Sam Roberts of the Sam Roberts Band. I would consider Sam Roberts CanCon.
Yeah.
Arcade Fire, they pierce
name.
through.
Oh, wow.
Sam Roberts is not a piercer, though.
He's
No,
not a piercer.
not a piercer.
Do you
no,
know-
no, no.
Did
Arcade
you know
Fire are not
that?
Canadian.
But they were integral to the Montreal scene, I guess, is why people.
Right.
Yeah, but
Are they not? Are none of them are Canadian?
Well, Win Butler's not Canadian, and he's the main songwriter, so he would not. He would put the notches on
But
the
then,
can.
what
But
about
his
the
wife
band
is
though?
Canadian. She's from here.
Who?
Renee.
Yeah, Regine. Yeah.
Zine,
Oh, what
yeah.
about Melissa Oftamar?
Oh, love her.
Sure.
Not a
Oh man, I have a
piercer,
Melissa Oftamar story.
Yeah,
She was in the Smashing Pumpkins, was she not? Isn't that piercing?
Yeah. And I think she's in Hole as
she's
well.
in Hole.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually, I don't have a
man.
story. She was going to sign her kids up to her camp.
Oh. Well,
Tell the story
wow.
again, Jason.
and I will
That was
tee
it.
you up for a story because didn't you have some type of encounter with Alana Miles?
Yeah, I think you've asked me this before.
Tell me.
Tell it.
Okay, so I was working at Sam the Record Man in Vancouver, and it was after the big hit album, and things dropped pretty quick for her. And I think she dated Robert Plant for a while. Anyway, they were trying to get people to come out in Vancouver to this bar to have like free food and enjoy a personal performance, like a small performance from her. She's gonna do like 5 songs from her new album. And I got there, and the place was so gross. Like the food was on the table, and it was literally cockroaches.
And what was the food?
There's like
Subs?
grapes and like cheese and things like that, or like cold cuts. And then there was a small little theater with a bunch of men who were all working in the music industry. And she went up and started playing, and was just playing it like it was like a strip club. And she was like going down and like dancing on these guys and stuff like that. And it was so sad to watch. I hated it. And then we left and went across the street, and that's when we saw, I forget her name now, another famous rocker, Lear, and yeah.
Oh, the Metal Queen.
Yeah, she was at a bar across the street. We walked in, and she stopped and looked at us because it was all old men at the time sitting around her. And she went, "Oh, thank God!" And then we had to stay because she was so happy that we were there.
Oh.
We sat down. It literally was like 5 old men and us.
Oh man, Alana.
And she was mad at Alana Miles because her boyfriend was playing in her band.
Oh my God, the drama.
Woo!
I want to
Damn.
move on as time winds down here. What about guilty pleasures? Now, I'm going to throw one in immediately right now. The Moffats, Bang Bang.
Yes. Sorry.
I listened to this song in preparation today. I was like, what are some good Canadian guilty pleasures?
Mhm.
My heart goes bang, bang, boom. That's a little boy band.
Oh, they were like they're Canadian. They're Canada's Hanson.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Mine is if you get down on me, I'll get down on you.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
do anything that you
Yeah,
want.
3LO or
I think it's before 4.
before 4.
Yeah.
Why aren't they
So
called
that's-
3?
What's that?
Dave, any Canadian guilty pleasures?
Yeah, I mean, not really. I don't listen to them anymore. But like back in the day, maybe Our Lady Peace.
Mm.
You forgot
Well,
that they were a piercer. Did they pierce?
Yeah.
No.
No, I don't think so.
No.
They didn't pierce?
I don't think. I think it was just Our
Maybe
World.
they pierced a little bit with Superman's Dead.
Yeah.
Now, who is he married to? What's that guy's name?
Dantel
Kraliazic.
Kraliazic.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's a power couple.
Rain Maida.
She's CanCon.
Yeah.
Baby
She's CanCon.
before you.
Oh.
Marlaena, guilty pleasures.
I love Turn Me Loose.
Oh,
Bye.
yeah.
I love Loverboy.
I like Loverboy a lot.
Wow.
I would never feel guilty about it.
Yeah, maybe I don't feel good about it. I take it back.
I
Len, Steal My
like
Sunshine.
I'm loving every minute of it. I really am loving every minute of it.
Steal My Sunshine was the second MP3 I ever downloaded.
By
Oh,
Len.
The first one
Famous
was Blue
uh,
by Eiffel 65.
2 of those people are from where I'm from. They're from Truro, Nova Scotia.
Yes, they used
Brother,
to be in the rap
brother
group.
and sister that had undeniable sexual chemistry.
Yeah, no, the brother and sister weren't from my town, but the
Aw,
other.
sad. What about swollen
Yeah.
members?
Oh,
My God, I had run-ins with those guys.
swollen members with what was his what
Mad
were
Child.
their names? Yeah.
That
Who was also in the Len video?
What's the most famous
Oh,
Swollen
yeah.
Members song?
It's that one that's like
The members gonna make us stop, and a man who takes the top.
I'm
So
remembering now that I
members of
think
the-
that was the reason why my mom wouldn't let me go to the Avril Lavigne concert.
Because they were
They
opening?
were opening.
Yeah, well, they had a
What a
biker
name!
following
Like,
and
come
stuff.
on.
Because they were just like, I'm not letting my 8-year-old daughter see swollen
Swollen members.
That could've been
yeah.
about
She was
anything.
like, "Do you know what that means? Do you like?"
And you're like, no, why don't you tell me?
No, tell me. And then she did, and I was like really afraid. So
Oh.
Well, Jason, do you have any?
It's
you're
all
not
coming
a
back
guilty
to me
pleasure
now.
guy.
Hilarious.
I don't really have guilty pleasures at all. Like I don't feel bad about anything I like. So there's really nothing I can pick.
Well, this is mostly just I say guilty pleasures, but it's like cheesy songs that you indulge every now and then to satisfy.
What's like a pop song you like, Jason? Like a mainstream pop song.
I can't think of it at the top of my head, but I wouldn't feel guilty about it. So
I'm gonna throw that Sky Sweetnam Billy S song on.
That is a good song,
Oh, yeah.
honestly.
Yeah. It's
Is
two
that
and a
what-
half minutes.
She goes,
Daddy, no,
yeah,
I don't want
Daddy,
to.
Daddy, whoops, or something like that.
Yeah. Daddy, Daddy, no, I don't want to go to school. Woo!
I
That's
can't
it.
believe wait, I have to go. Can we like rewind this? Because I need to go back and say,
That's up.
can we rewind the whole episode? Because like I never mentioned metric and how important it was.
Oh
in
yeah,
my-
metric
my
was
life.
metric is very, very important because it was like, oh, first of all, I think that Emily Haynes had a big influence on just that kind of style of singing, where it's
Yes.
like, wait, you can just like have like sing in a normal voice and it sounds cool, like cool as fuck, like a really like, and then that was a cool band. For a
Yeah.
while.
I want to know, does anyone have any guilty pleasure love for one of the probably the greatest piercers into the American and worldwide market, Nickelback?
You know,
Oh, well, okay, I have one. When I was growing up, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man really meant a lot to me, and say that a
that's literally what I
hero.
was gonna say. Yeah.
I got chills. I got chills thinking about that damn song.
What about the one that starts off?
I'll
like-
get you heaven.
Oh, you do it first. But
Yeah.
there's the one that starts off.
Josie Scott part.
Okay.
What's the one that's like it's all about like the dad like left and everything. Couldn't
Too
keep
bad.
holding
Too
on
bad.
our
Too
back.
late.
Yeah.
Now, what about Rockstar?
Oh, I mean,
That
That's
made me.
man, they sold out.
What
They sold
about
out on that song.
Dave, go for
the one that starts? It's like, I like your pants around your feet, or something like that. You know that one?
That's it. I don't know that one.
Now,
That's like-
this
yeah.
is, we had an entire episode dedicated strictly to Nickelback on this show. And Dave, you played Chad Kroger. You had no wig, so you used a yellow rag as his hair.
That's right. Is there a
We-
follow-up
We
question?
talked about all of the very salacious Nickelback lyrics.
Yeah, I feel like in their later career they've gone purely like sex demons.
Nice.
they're the
I love
musical equivalent of a tramp stamp.
Yeah.
I
Pretty good.
I one time stopped when I was on my way to play a show in Medicine Hat, Alberta, at a brick factory because the town had gotten money for Canada's 150th birthday party, and we stopped in Hanna, Alberta, which is where Nickelback is from, and it is on their the side of the town. It says Hanna, home of Nickelback.
Wow.
Underneath, and it was one of the worst towns I've ever been in my entire
Do not enter.
Did you get to? Did they give you any bricks to take home at the brick factory?
No, but they did have a thing where they're like, over here you can make your own bricks.
That's cool.
Whoa.
Oh, you had to be work for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't take the brick home. You have to leave it.
Make one and then leave it there. Wow.
What if
Yeah.
is there a theme park for them? Like a giant like cowboy boot or like a ride the belt buckle?
It's
It's
just
just-
a big brick.
Yeah, just a big brick. Yeah.
Well, I feel like Nickelback must have performed at the Stampede. Marlaena, you ever performed at the Stampede?
Yes, I have. Yeah, the
Very
Coca-Cola
cool.
stage. Yeah. Honestly, they get a lot of good people there, like like myself. The Stampede is a very good time. You can get I actually one time I was really close to winning a free rack of ribs from riding on the bull there, but I did
Oh,
not
wow.
make it to the final round.
There's always this year. Is Stampede happen when? Next month?
Yeah,
Oh,
really
Get out
soon.
there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in Calgary like next week, but not for the Stampede. Sadly, I'll be
Just
there
do
for
the bowl
another.
anyway. I'm sure you're fine.
Yeah, you can't swing a damn lasso without hitting a few mechanical bulls around Calgary. That's for
Exactly.
sure.
That feels like one of those things. Like you can't make an omelet without cracking a few eggs.
That's kind of what it sounded like.
Oh, prairie oysters.
Now, Marlaena, I want to jump into a topic that you threw in as we start to get ready to say goodnight. Acts that you thought were Canadian. This is very interesting. I'm immediately throwing in Jennifer Page, singer Crush.
It's
Just
a
a
little.
little crush.
Should be Canadian.
That is a good
Right.
song. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like,
I thought Shaggy was
Not sorry.
Canadian up until a week ago.
okay, actually, yeah, that makes a lot of sense for Shaggy.
I thought that the National were Canadian, but then I was realizing it was like it was like, oh, it's because of the National like news at night. What?
Oh, you thought Peter
Yeah, with
Mansfield was
Mansfield.
band.
Dave, how about you? Acts that you thought were Canadian or maybe could be or should be Canadian?
I'm trying to think. I feel like Bob Dylan could be Canadian. I don't know.
Yeah, look, I think
That
there's
tracks.
something behind what Dave is saying. I think Marcy Playground could be Canadian.
Yeah,
They're
sure.
I think-
not.
No, they're not.
I am goofy.
I think that that band Harvey Danger, who had the song Flagpole Sitta, could
Oh,
be
yeah.
Canadian.
Sure.
Jason,
Is that one that goes like
everyone trying to get me.
Yeah.
I thought Chris Isaac was Canadian for a really
Oh,
long
that makes
time.
sense.
Well, he looks Canadian.
He does.
Yeah, he does look Canadian.
He's a triple threat.
Is he?
He
You
can
got that
act, he
right.
can sing, and I'm sure
Yeah,
he can
had that
dance. I don't
sexy
know.
show that was on.
Also, he would supposedly, when he was filming the Chris Isaac show in Vancouver, at parties would pull his dick out. It's quite large.
All
Classic.
right,
How do you know?
Chris.
That's what they told
How do
me.
you know?
They're like, yeah, he likes to get drunk and pull his dick out at parties.
That's
Well,
hilarious. That's
alcohol can bring
hilarious.
It can bring out the worst in people.
So he's
Who, Chris Isaac can?
Other bands we think or thought was Canadian.
Well, I said this before we started, but yeah, I really thought the band Live was Canadian.
Yeah,
What's that name? Like, come on.
yeah.
Matthew Good and Dave Matthews, I think, were also good Canadian band contenders as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
what about?
I
Wait,
think that the Dave Matthews Band is lame enough to be Canadian.
hold
Well,
on.
Blues Traveler.
Is Muse Canadian?
No, they are not.
Muse is British, but but that's a good one. That
I
is a good
believe
one.
I could see Muse being Canadian.
No, I think
Blues
Blues
Traveler.
Traveler does not sound Canadian. It seems way
The
too
name,
American.
though, the name feels kind of
The
Canadian.
name feels Canadian.
I
Yeah,
have one that I think sounds reminds me, but you clearly wouldn't mistake them for that because they're called Presidents of the United States of America. But
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yeah, very
Feels
much.
very
so.
Canadian.
Yeah.
What about
yeah.
like,
They had Peaches and Lump.
yeah,
Yeah.
they did. What about Jack Johnson?
Yeah, sure. You know what was a didgeridoo?
What's that?
You play the didgeridoo?
Oh, I think so.
Is he Australian?
No, it's not him. It's someone else. But is Jack Johnson Hawaiian? Maybe.
I
Yes,
think
he's
it's
Hawaiian.
Yeah, okay.
And
Oh.
I remember bringing up like I was actually recording an album, and we were all kind of one of the guy who's drumming in my band was like, oh yeah, when I worked at HMV, Jack Johnson had to hear that every goddamn day.
Oh.
And the person who was recording us was like, Jack Johnson, you mean hero of the earth? Do you know that he puts all of his money into saving the reefs? And that just like it changed my perspective about Jack Johnson. He's like he's a you know, puts his money
Financially
where his mouth
irresponsible.
is.
So a band that you wouldn't think they're Canadian or they're not Canadian, but spent a lot of time in Canada was Heart early on.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
I
right.
can see
Yeah, that's
that.
right. Yep.
I
yep,
love
yep, yep.
Heart.
Oh, me too. Band
That first
formed
record is
in-
just mind blowing. It's so good. So good.
Now, how about Rob Zombie?
No, not Canadian.
No, he's not Canadian.
Oh, that
Yeah,
guy
no,
could be
they're
from Nova Scotia.
I don't know.
The Dragula is an American car, James.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that song.
I do love Dragula, I have to
Me
say.
too.
I heard it in McDonald's the other day. 'Cause
Oh my god.
you go to McDonald's and you're conditioned to hear either like top 40 or more commonly Muzak or elevator
Yeah.
music or jazz. And I'm just waiting for my Big Mac trio. Burn through the bridges and they.
In the back of my dragon.
And that song reeks of America.
Yes, it does. But it also reminds me big time of Big Shiny Tunes.
There's a whole bunch of
Yeah.
bands that were
Tunes
like,
that, it's got American songs on it, but that is a Canadian
Very Canadian.
collection.
There were a bunch of bands
Baseball.
that, around that time of like 2000s and stuff that were American and had hits, like we mentioned, Collective Soul. There's a lot of bands like that where I'd be like, oh, this sounds like it could be Canadian.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would even consider Matchbox 20 sounding Canadian.
Oh,
Yeah,
big
100%.
Three Doors Down?
What? There's like we
Yeah.
could just name 75 artists in a row like that.
Well, there's a lot of those like mid 2000s Canadian rock bands, like Theory of a Dead Man.
Yeah. I can't believe they're not Canadian.
Covered by Nickelback.
They are Canadian. Theory of a Dead Man. They
Oh,
were
yeah, they
early
are.
proteges of Nickelback.
What about Lifehouse?
Lifehouse not
Oh.
Canadian, but could be.
God.
Could be.
I'll just
Creed?
that is a that's just a guilty pleasure song.
Wasn't
Lifehouse?
that
By a
band
moment?
Big something? Big,
I'm hanging by a moment here with... No.
Mr. Big.
no.
Oh, sure.
No.
What about Creed? Creed's Canadian, aren't
This
they?
is all just naming bad
That
bands.
does sound Canadian.
Creed's
Yeah, Big Rat.
they're a Christian band, right?
Yeah.
Big Rack.
Could
Big
Evanescence be Canadian?
Wait, Big Wreck is not Canadian?
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
I was
they
just
are, okay.
trying to remember who they were.
Could Smash Mouth be Canadian?
Yeah, I think so. You could see them performing at West Edmonton Mall, like really easily. Like that's a mall tour band.
Yeah,
like a Burger King.
I hope they play All Star.
Steve Harwell has had a variety of, unfortunately, alcohol-influenced meltdowns at shows.
Oh,
Probably the best part of the show.
No,
is that the Smash Mouth guy? Smashing
Yeah.
Smash Mouth?
it is.
That's like a documentary title of like the
Yeah.
the behind the scenes smashing Smash
Smash
Mouth.
Mouth.
Could the Counting Crows be Canadian?
Oh, big
My
time.
God,
I
Yeah,
thought they
yeah,
were.
yeah, totally.
I
Yeah.
disagree.
Oh,
You say no, Dave.
I say
He's an
no.
outlier.
Adam Duritz does not seem Canadian.
Oh, but the band sounds.
the band.
Yeah, the band sounds really Canadian.
But it's true. He doesn't seem Canadian. He's got
That guy
this
dated a
voice.
lot of starlets.
Like who? Any Canadian ones?
Jennifer Aniston.
Rita McNeil.
McNeil, my
Oh, dated
lady.
Jennifer Aniston.
Didn't he
Boy.
date he dated Drew Barrymore too, right?
Yeah.
Whoa!
What was the appeal of that guy? It was weird.
I know. It really makes me sad when beautiful actresses date musicians.
You're telling me that
Why?
Drew Barrymore and Rita McNeil are tunnel sisters?
No.
What about
about,
Jan Arden?
Yeah.
Jan Arden's
Oh,
Canadian.
Let's
Jan
talk about her
Arden.
for a while.
I love Insensitive. I love that song so much. I think that is a beautifully written song. I love that Jan made her own Canadian TV show that
Good, yeah.
Feist was the guest star the first episode, and I love that Feist did that. I love respect to Jan. That's all I'll
I
say.
also want to show a bit of respect to another Canadian content creator, Marilyn Dennis, who recently just retired from her
Your sweet lady.
talk show.
Not a musician.
My wife went to see a COVID taping of Marilyn Dennis, and by that she
Audience
watched,
of the Marilyn Dennis
she
show.
watched it
You
on
watched
Zoom.
it
Yeah,
online.
I have no idea who this is.
Marilyn
I don't know
Dennis.
who this is either.
She's like
She is
a
She's got a daytime Canadian talk show similar to Deanie Petty.
yeah.
Oh my
Okay.
god. Great Big C ever on that show?
Oh my god.
Most certainly they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a great clip on YouTube of Gowan performing When There's Time for Love from his early 90s cassette, But You Can Call Me Larry on the Deanie Petty show.
You love
You know who the
Dean.
guy from Great Big C writes music with now?
Alan Doyle?
Yeah. But do you know who he writes music with?
Who?
You?
That actor, what's his name? The actor from Gladiator.
No, he writes it with you. He writes it with you.
Oh,
You're
Gerard.
a liar. He writes it with
Russell
you.
Crowe.
No.
Oh, Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, yeah.
Does he have
Oh,
a
yeah,
band,
yeah,
Russell
he's a
Crowe? Is he
band
like
guy.
a Billy
Yeah, he
Bob
has several
Thornton kind of
bands.
guy?
The Odd Foot of Grunts was his band.
Could the
Yes.
Boxmasters be Canadian?
That.
Billy
That's
Bob
the,
Thornton's band.
Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton's band.
Wait. What about is Keanu Reeves' band? Could they be or they would be?
Rockstar?
Oh, yeah, Keanu's.
Well, if he's in the band, then they're CanCon.
They aren't though.
Yeah, they are. There's rules around that. Just
What's
sad.
that lady? And she's from Nova Scotia, and she
Lubagoy.
not Lubagoy. Lubagoy's from Newfoundland,
Petty.
I think. No,
Deanie
she's
Petty.
a singer, and she's from Spring Hill, Nova Scotia.
Just Google it.
Tell us her
old.
song.
No, say some lady singers
Oh,
from
go
Canada.
Google it.
Okay, Spring Hill.
And
Anne Murray.
Oh, and Murray. Oh, yeah.
CanCon.
You
What
know who
about
else
her?
is
Icon.
Canadian is Melissa Etheridge.
Yeah,
Oh, she feels very Canadian. Oh,
Yeah,
Katie
that-
Lang feels Canadian.
Oh,
she's
she
Canadian.
is Canadian. She's
Wait,
from
she is?
Edmonton. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's where I'm from. She's where I'm from.
The
I
Indigo
was
Girls
right
could
then.
be Canadian.
Yeah,
Yes, they
100.
did. Well, their Indigo Girls are proto Lilith Fair.
And the
Yeah.
Chicks.
Oh. The
Chicks?
the-
No, they're American.
They do not seem
They
Canadian at all.
don't seem Canadian.
The Chicks.
Formerly known as the Dixie Chicks.
Yes.
Oh god.
You gotta beep that out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say the Brian Setzer Orchestra.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Wait,
there's a
that's
guy
not
from Toronto
Canadian?
who kind of copies that sort of whole thing. He's
The Big Bad Voodoo Daddies.
Isn't that like what? Stray Cats? No. Was that?
No, that's another Brian Setzer joint.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that all neo swing sounds Canadian.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will agree
Yeah.
with that. Wow. Yeah.
What about the
Does it
Mighty
sound
Mighty
familiar?
Bosstones?
Yeah, you
Oh
can-
hell yeah.
No, I don't know. I think ska is pretty American.
Yes,
Or-
that's
but it's
pretty-
not actually. It's completely
What, is
appropriated.
Diana
by...
Krall Canadian? No.
Yes, she is. Yes,
Yes,
she
she is.
is. Yes,
Okay.
indeed. She's from
She-
Nanaimo.
Oh,
she
shit.
she was whenever she was back in Canada, Elvis Costello would be with her because he's married to her. And
Yeah.
he was between albums and he was playing a show because he was there and it was just him on piano and I was working at a record store and they're like, you got to go to this, we're trying to get as many people as possible, and we went and it was underattended and it was like
Oh,
him
wow.
playing on piano
Oh,
and I
Elvis.
didn't even want to be there, but I was like, okay, I'll go. I sat up front and fell asleep and then woke up to a guy yelling, you're putting us to sleep, and then Elvis Costello was so mad.
Oh no!
I love Elvis
That's crazy.
Costello.
I love Elvis Costello.
Yeah,
He's
but
a
it was
nerd.
Yeah.
He was being like,
He's a
he didn't want
nerd.
to play hits. He was
He is
on
a nerd.
piano. He didn't want to do anything like that. It was like a really long concert.
I like nerds make good musicians though.
Okay,
They
so
do, yeah.
another topic: biggest music nerds. Hold on, could Ricky Lake be Canadian?
No. She doesn't feel Canadian to me.
I think she looked Canadian in the mid '90s.
Yeah.
Jason, I'm sure you can agree with this, but for me, being a musician, meeting other musicians, touring, playing, every single musician I have met, no matter how cool they seem, is like the biggest fucking nerd I've ever met in my entire life.
Whoa!
Social anxiety problems for sure.
Um,
It feels like they put themselves through it. They're like, this is not the best thing for me, but I'm going to do it.
Well, wait, hold on, Jason. Didn't you have a nice interaction with Chris Robinson of the Black Crows?
Yeah, I had a great interaction with him.
Oh, that's nice.
There's
Yeah,
no
he
way
was-
Chris Robinson's a nerd.
He knows music really well. He was buying a bunch of krautrock and stuff. Like he knows experimental music. Like he's just into shit.
I would say for my partner, who's also in a Canadian band, he said that the only musician he's met who was actually cool was Warren Ellis, who plays in Nick
of course.
Cave. He hung out with him for a while and was like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
he's like the baddest motherfucker you've ever met in your
yeah, I
entire
feel like
life.
Get to a
anybody.
certain age.
Yeah.
Definitely not Canadian.
No.
Well, as we wind down here, I just want to go around the horn. This is open forum. Anyone can say anything they want based on the topic or subtopics. Alex, let's start with you. How do you want to wrap things up? Are you saying
Okay.
like, dislike, your favorite, your least favorite, anything?
Okay, so mine is like just like I feel like I need to acknowledge shadowy men on a shadowy planet. Specifically just for the Kids in the Hall like credit song. It's like ding,
Oh, yeah.
ding, like that is just like I don't know, I feel like it just kind of like formed my personality as a human being. So
All right.
and the Odds also. Shout out to the Odds.
Jason, how about you? Final word, anything you want.
There was that box set that came out in the 90s called Oh Canada, and it had at the time this it was like the cream of the crop of Canadian music. And I look up that track listing. We could have used it tonight. I'm sure it's terrible.
All right, well, we can do another one of these. Marlaena, let's go to you. Final thoughts.
Well, I want to give a big shout out to Arts and Crafts for killing it when I was a teenager, RIP, and like Star and Broken Social Scene, Feist, all that jazz. And then also to all of the wonderful Canadian bands right now who are crushing it and killing it. It's hard out there, lot of great Canadian content out there. So yeah, shout out.
Sounds good. I want to give a shout out to the Jitters, one of the lesser known Canadian bands whose one and only hit was the last of the Red Hot Fools.
Canada's Huey Lewis in the News.
Isn't that Doug and the Slugs?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Doug and the Slugs. You're right.
Yeah, I would say that the Jitters are Canada's other Doug and the Slugs.
In Vancouver, our landlady was married to the keyboard player from Doug and the Slugs, and they used to rehearse in our garage.
Jason, would you like to jump in with your Doug and the Slugs story?
Lived in a small apartment when our daughter was first born, and the drummer lived next to me, and we shared internet.
Nice. What was his Wi-Fi password? Doug and the Slugs. Or was dial-up?
Dave, final thoughts? As someone who was coming in low confidence but provided a lot of laughs, let's not forget that Kid Cudi joke is content unto itself.
A lot of mixed reactions to that joke. You know, I came in here.
I loved it.
Came in here unsure what was going to happen. I think.
Hold on, for people that are just tuning in, let's recap what the joke was. Alex and Marlaena was talking about their shared connection to
Jim Cudi, Blue Rodeo.
Jim Cudi of Blue Rodeo. They talked about meeting his son, to which you said,
"Yeah, Kid Cudi,"
and I laughed really hard.
Probably gets that a lot.
It was a good joke.
It was a great joke. But Dave, let's go to you. Thoughts on the joke?
Me?
We're gonna do a
thoughts on my
post-mortem.
own joke.
Yeah. Anyway, you can punch it up.
I think it. You know, sometimes jokes require the element of surprise, and I think it landed the first time, and maybe
I was very surprised.
It didn't land so hard the next couple of times, but you know, it's pretty solid zinger. And
I loved it.
It's nice to see all these Canadian content coming out. And I feel like we punch above our weight class as a country. Not that I'm a particularly nationalistic person, but, you know, we do well in the arts.
Yeah, except for television and film.
No, but we outsource a lot of actors and writers.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, yeah.
But we don't make nobody makes it here. They have to go somewhere else.
Yeah, we breed them good.
And then we send them away from the nest.
Send them away from our terrible film.
Alex, you like Neon Rider?
Who doesn't? Great TV theme song. Get on the ranch and ride. Got something precious.
No, I'm not. Look, we had some good ones. We had the Littlest Hobo, obviously.
Oh my God, we could go on forever, baby. What about Catwalk?
Yeah, Ned Campbell.
Actually, I take it back. Canadian television is good. Canadian film is quite bad.
What about Ready or Not?
Catwalk was a TV show about a Canadian band.
Oh, just like what was it one? The one where she's like gonna be it was like Instant Star or something. I forget. Anyway.
Oh, you might be talking about the Berlin Dennis show.
Yeah, you're right.
Look, I'm more than happy to reconvene to talk about Canadian content TV edition.
Oh, please.
We're not doing the movie version. I don't want to do the movie one. No. Then that'll be it. Guys, thanks so much for doing this show tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah,
James.
thank you, bro.
Well, we couldn't have done it because this is Canadian content. Dave, you're getting the final word.
I was going to say, if we don't do the movie one, we can't talk about Bone Cop, Bad Cop.
Oh, you're so right.
Or is Brain Candy a Canadian film?
What about School's Out, the Degrassi movie?
Oh, yeah, the ultimate.
I feel like Brain Candy was produced by Lorne Michaels.
Oh, yeah.
With that?
No, you're right.
No, Lauren's Canadian, though.
He's Canadian, yeah.
Okay, this settles it. We have to do a movie edition. Until then, thanks so much for joining us. We will be back in 1 week's time for Jason, Alex, Marlaena, and Dave. I am James. You are you. We were here. Good night. Goodbye. Farewell. Be well. And oh, Canada.